Morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Welcome to this week's. Thank you. Welcome to this week's meeting of Essex Business Forum. Slightly a slight increase in numbers today. Nice to see. Leadership team, stand up, show yourself, and tell us who you are.
I'll go first. I'm chair of the membership committee, and I also.
You're in trouble. Don't ding with your mouth.
He does the bell.
That happens as you get older.
Good morning, all. I'm Terry, your membership and recruitment coordinator.
Good morning, Dr. Scott, your meeting secretary and the handsome face of Live Chat.
Morning, Ben, education coordinator.
Morning, everybody. I'm social secretary.
Thank you all. Next week I'll ask you to do it's a mouthful, but this week we'll right. Right. So we're into the meeting, and the first up is the Performance League. So Scott, take it away.
Rightio. So just 1 week recorded so far this month, and it's great to see that with just 1 week on, 2 members have already passed the benchmark for the whole month of January. So good for them. Lots of others on their way. Top 3 positions. 3rd place, 47 points to Terry. 2nd place, 82 points to Paul Booth. Runaway leader at present, 105 points to Julie Smolks. That's a great start. Now, whilst I'm still up, I've got to award this that we spoke about last week. Tina! Congratulations for winning the second.
Now, what we need to look for as a visitor is some new phrase things. Yeah. Right. Education. Next. Take it away.
Thank you very much. Well, today we've got to look forward to, we've got a little treat for you because we have none other than the stiff-necked Toby Atkinson.
Just the step.
Yeah. I didn't want to say that, but...
I'm not sure why it's a treat, but there you go. As you probably all know, I'm a big fan of learning and developing our knowledge and ourselves, and this is the education slot. So I've often found there's lots of great personal development and business books out there, but they can take a long time to read or to listen to them. I prefer Audible, and often in my experience these books can be quite bloated, full of filler, obviously to justify the price. They've got some great powerful ideas and concepts in them, but they tend to just repeat it and talk about it in different ways and have all these different examples. I found that recently when I listened to The Chimp Paradox. I don't know if anyone's listened to that one or read it. First 2 or 3 chapters, totally got the idea, the concept, loved it, but they just kept going over the same thing and saying it differently in different ways and have all these examples. So let me introduce you to Blinkist, if you haven't not already familiar with it. It's an app that basically provides 15-minute summaries of, they've got over 5,000 non-fiction books. They have them in text form, audio format if you prefer that, that's what I prefer. They've summarised now over 5,000 books, all sorts of categories, entrepreneurship, motivation, inspiration, management, leadership, marketing and sales, economics, politics, history, biographies, personal development, mindfulness, psychology, communication, even sex and relationships, if you want that. There's 27 different categories, like I said, over 5,000 books, and they're just simple 15-minute summaries, either as ebooks or audiobooks. It means that you can learn a lot quicker, you get the basics of that, and you can save money. And what I find is useful is you can get the summary and then decide whether you want to read or listen to the whole book. if you want to invest in the full version. They're adding an average of, I think, about 70 books a month. If you subscribe for a year, it works out to just $4.99 a month. I think it's really, really good value. So if you want to learn more and earn more, I would really recommend Blinkist to you.
Is there an affiliate link to that that you want to send?
There is an affiliate link, but once you subscribe, basically before you subscribe you get extensions to your free trial, but once you subscribe the affiliate link does nothing. So I would gladly send you an affiliate link, but it's worth nothing. So it's just Blinkist.com.
Blinkist or Blinkist?
Blinkist, B-L-I-N-K-I-S-T. And basically they call them blinks, because the book's done in a blink of an eye.
I must ask you whether going through it and checking it out, if you have done, did that give you the stiff neck? Right, membership matters. Terry, do you have any?
No.
No. I always like to ask, if nothing else. Right, okay. Right, we approach the first main part of the meeting, which is the 60-second round. I'm passing round the business card box. Please take out cards to reflect what you need. Make sure you're adequately represented. Also, is going round other slips for you to the box for you to accept in. Right, 60-second round. Your chance. Stuart.
Sorry, can I just interject at that point? On the business card, my new cards are in there. So if you've got my old details, please take a new one, new address, etc. If you want one, I'll just give it.
It's a little bit earlier there.
Very, very good printing.
Very right. Or make sure that you take one of Stuart's then, or two. Right. The 60-second round. Make sure you present your business, but only in 60 seconds. Vincent will be using his finger to indicate the bell after 50 seconds, and another one after 60. Thanks, Vince. Mike Skinner was the winner last week. He'll be listening out today, and will award the Oscar at the end of the 60-second round. Right, let's get on with it then. And as you, Mike, you will go first. You will be followed by James.
Good morning, everyone. Right, I'm going to assume most people here have got some idea about SEO. I don't mean Scott's company, but the techniques of making your website perform at its best in search engine results. What many people don't know, though, is that SEO for websites is also affected by the video content posted onto them. How you title your video files before you upload them, what hashtags and terms you add to the descriptions, all help search engines realise this website featuring a video is worthy content to show to other people. It's a bit more complex than that, because when you upload a video with spoken parts to YouTube, it automatically interprets those now and creates subtitles. They're not always perfect, but they're generally pretty good. And the search engines will go through those video subtitles looking for keywords to decide the ranking of the website showing those videos. So if you've got a website about headphones, Scott will merrily tell you the importance of making sure you've got the word headphones and other key terms regularly mentioned in the text. But the explainer video you post should also be mentioning those keywords, and the file name of the video you upload should also have those key terms in it as well. So if you're looking at adding content online, speak to Scott, Hannah, which is out, or myself, depending on the type of content. You can all make sure you get the best results rather than getting lost in the sea of search results out there. It's Michael Blackwood's Media.
Thanks, Mike. The advantage of holding the Oscar, you can ignore the bell. Right, James, you're next, and you're followed by Mike Rogers, provided he's back from the loop. If not, I'll get somebody else to do it. He can. Right, James.
Morning all, James from RMA, Durham's General Insurance Brokers, general being an important word, so that's what I'm looking to announce. We'll have a crack at most things, as you all know. I mentioned about the proper jobs, the scaffolders, the builders, the roofers. Linked to that is what vehicles they're driving. So again, I mentioned fleets before, but if you know anybody that has 3 vehicles or more, and one of those is a commercial vehicle of any size, shape or variety, send them my way. We're doing really well on fleets at the moment. We're saving lots of people lots of money, and we can turn quotes around really quickly. We're also picking out all sorts of issues with people's policies at the moment. John and I were just talking about people not really seeming to put their all into their jobs at the moment in certain industries. And I'm just finding errors and errors and errors from other brokers where it is just a case of get the quote out as quickly as possible and let's hope it's right, rather than actually spending the time and making sure it's right. So, James, RMK Insurance, I'll sit down.
Thank you, James. Right, on the basis that you've washed your hands, you have 60 seconds.
Morning, everybody.
Morning.
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 Enthusiasm, please. Morning, everybody.
Morning.
Right, now, last year, some of you around the room who have got mortgages and are coming towards the end of their fixed rate, we were saying rates are going up, up, up. We need to get the new rate in place as soon as possible, and lenders were even extending the window when you could book them. Okay? Well, update to that. The news now is that rates are going down, down, down. So if you're expecting a call from me this month saying we need to do your mortgage, I'm probably not going to phone you because we'll delay it as long as we can and get the rates when they're as low as possible. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Is that good news from Mark?
It's always nice to be told that you can delay things. Never do today, put off till tomorrow. Our resident pain in the neck, Terry Acton.
Good morning again, everybody. Went into town on Monday for my birthday and went to see Back to the Future, the musical, which, by the way, was absolutely brilliant. I spoke to Ben about it. He agrees, fantastic. And I was sitting there thinking, how can this be applied to business? Actually, I was thinking, how can I shoehorn this into my 60 seconds? And I'm always talking about, making sure you have a vision for your life. And I encourage people to think back to what you started your business for. So think back to the future vision that you had for your business. See what I did there? Are you there? Are you achieving what you wanted to? The wealth and the work-life balance you started your business for. Are you where you should be? Are you on the right track? Or do you know somebody perhaps that is not on the right track to achieving their future vision for what they started their business for? That sort of person is the ideal referral to me. So if you want to get back to your future vision, or you know somebody that does, then please put them in touch.
Thank you, Toby. Ryan Painter is next, and he's followed by Ben.
Morning, everyone. I'm a hypnotherapist, talking hypnotherapy, but I only started work the day yesterday, so nothing much is happening. But towards the end of last year, I saw a lady who had a presentation. She worked for an insurance company, and she was one of 50 who'd been earmarked for a very senior position. But she had to give a presentation, and she was absolutely petrified. She'd gone through all the processes, done well. She came to me and she said, I don't see how a few sessions with you could get me to stand up and feel confident about talking. And I remember what one of my trainers said to me almost 30 years ago. He said, hypnotherapy is rather like a surgeon. A surgeon will cut through skin, flesh and muscle to get down to the root of the problem. And that's what hypnotherapy can do, get down to the root of the problem. And she said this rather nicely. As you know, I really dedicated, and I smashed it. I prepared well, took some deep breaths, looked everybody in the eye and went for it. One of the biggest compliments I had at the dinner after was from the MD of the training company. She came over after dinner and said, I didn't realise it was you. She has been warned that there would be someone very, very nervous who probably had a wobble, not able to finish their presentation. I didn't know that was meant to be you. You're a competent, calm, spoke clearly, and knew your stuff. And my director was the ladies director, who was also there, so pleased with how it went. He wants me to present to us. Thank you so much for what you've done, for being a nervous wreck that I can't do, for holding my head high and delivering a fantastic presentation. You could not have done it without you. That's the first page of 5. You're not in it.
Thank you, Brian. That's this month. Right, Ben, you're next, and you're followed by Vincent, and nobody else can have over 60 seconds.
Good morning, guys. Ben Golding from Utilities Warehouse. I help people save money on their essential household utilities. We literally offer the cheapest energy available in the UK. We have great bundles and discounts on our broadband, mobiles and boiler cover, plus our £100 and £200 bill busting boost has been extended. So just like the family that I spoke to earlier this week, they were going to be paying £450 just for their energy. However, after a half an hour chat with me, their broadband, energy, mobiles, boiler cover, all for £330, saving them a whopping £130 a month. That's over £1,500 a year, £1,700 with our bill busting boost. So this week, looking for people you know that want to save money with the UK's most trusted, the UK's most awarded, and the UK's cheapest utility company, Ben Golding Utility Warehouse.
Thank you very much, Ben. Vincent, set an example for us, please.
Morning everyone, Vincent from Speedprint. I also went to the theatre over the New Year. I saw Moulin Rouge and I was thinking of a way of shoehorning it into my presentation. But
Just do the caca.
yeah, I could do that. I can't. I like to bring along samples of printed works so you get an idea of what I'm all about. A great referral would be care homes, hospices, that kind of thing, that have visitor report books and timesheets for the staff. So if you can give me an introduction to any care home, that'd be a great referral. Bless you all. Peace and love.
Thank you very much, Vincent. Mike Hickson is followed by Nick Cook.
Morning everyone, Mike Hickson from LSA Systems, a good friendly IT service provider. My company supplies IT services to small and medium-sized businesses throughout Essex and the South East. But what is a typical IT service for us? Well, in simple terms, our services range from the supply of basic equipment, such as the PC or the printer, through antivirus software subscriptions, to support and maintenance or delivering consultancy services to help business owners get the most out of technology. This week, we've been asked to advise on securing an organisation's email systems because a breach that they had recently through their email cost them £30,000. And we've also been asked to advise a separate organisation on how to become cyber essentials accredited. A lot of security work for us this week. So if you know anyone who needs any assistance with their IT or security, send them my way. It's Mike Hickson, assistance.
Thank you, Mike. Nick, you're followed by Terry.
Yeah, good morning. My name's Nick. As you know, I'm a structural engineer. I spend a good deal of my time advising homeowners on various issues they may have with their house, or their bungalow, or their flat, or whatever it is they live in. I also provide a structural inspection service for people who are buying property to make sure the house they're going to buy is in good structural condition before they buy it. I provide a structural design service too for people who want to alter their houses in some way. Perhaps it's going to be a side extension, rear extension, maybe a loft conversion. It might be something quite simple, like taking a wall out between two rooms to create one big room. That's what I do. My name's Nick. I'm a structural engineer.
Thanks, Nick. Something simple like taking the wall out. Good. Get Nick to help. Terry, you're next. You're followed by Mr. Smallcombe.
Yeah, thanks, Aidan. Good morning, everybody. Terry Magan, CM4. I've had a lot of inquiries lately from clients who want to recover their properties. They've got residential properties and they've let them out. And for one reason or another, they either want to sell them or move in or move out, or they want the properties back. And it's quite incredible how ill prepared they are for that happening, because they might have got one at the moment, had a tenancy agreement sometime in the past with the tenant, no idea where it is or what it says, but he wants me to serve a notice to get the tenant out. Another one, you've done absolutely none of the things you have to do as a landlord: gas safety, electrical safety, EPC, how to rent guide and so on and so forth, deposit. So absolutely, it's just shocking lack of knowledge among landlords. And they're usually people who've either got one or two properties, not even professional landlords. So if you know anyone in that situation who's got a property, they want to recover it and they're really not sure whether they've got anything in place, the short answer is they probably haven't. But I can help them get around those issues, so you know who to send them to. Terry Maiden, Terry Webb.
Thank you, Terry. Stuart, you're followed by John Hammond.
Good morning everybody, Stuart from LG Networks. I kindly prompted you before the 62nd round to take one of my new business cards, which is reassuringly expensive, very high quality, no doubt you'll know. Please take a look at the business card, and who can tell me what's not on there?
Website.
Mobile phone number. Why is my mobile phone number not there? Because I don't need any more. It's my mobile phone number, my 07 number. I give that to my friends, to my family. I don't give it to my business associates. You're very happy, very welcome. I'd love you to phone me on my DDI number, which works during the time I want it to work. It works like that because of using voice over IP phone systems. That's on there, and you can have exactly the same sort of level of control where you're not held to. We're getting heckled. Yeah, so please, if you know someone who wants to keep their mobile number, their private mobile number for their friends and their family, keep a business number which you can switch on when you want it, switch it off when you're going on holiday, divert it to a call answering service, whatever you want to do, please put in touch with me, Stuart at LG Networks. Thank you.
Thanks, Stuart.
No, I said my friends.
Right, John Hammond. John Hammond will be followed by Diaz. John, take it away.
Good morning, everyone. Today I want to talk about fire alarms. All of you must rent buildings, work buildings. You need a fire alarm system in there to protect people. If you rent a building, just put our name forward to the landlord and we'll do the maintenance of the fire system. There's so many cowboy fire alarm companies out there. We were working at school just before Christmas, working in the full ceiling, pulling cables for the access control, and we found a smoke detector with the dust capsule on. And the thing has been maintained 5 times. We got the maintenance guy to get the neck of that, and they tested the system not 5 times, for 5 years. So for school, that's twice a year. 10 times they've been to site, and they've not tested that one smoke detector. It's still got the dust cover off and it's maintained, installed. Not only did we find that on the fire alarm, we found all the 110 lighting still in the ceiling space as well. So if you want anyone to do it right, give us a call. That's John Hammond from Down Technology.
Thanks, John. Scott.
Good morning, everybody. Yes, I'm Leanne Brooklyn Interiors, your interior designer. So this year I've decided to start a bit of a newsletter. So it's going to be a fortnightly newsletter, giving hints and tips on how to decorate your home and everything. And I've also got some professionals in contact with mine. They're going to come along and give their hints and tips, such as a declutterer, as a stager, a cleaner, those sort of things, a decorator. So if you know anyone who would like to receive the newsletter, please send them to my website where it says sign up for the newsletter. And yeah, I'll send them getting regular updates. Thank you.
Yeah. Remarkably, I was going to say brief, but it was 60 seconds, isn't it? That's brief today. 60 seconds is the new brief. Scott's next, Matt's following.
Good morning all, Dr. Scott. Talking to you all today about a service most of you probably already have, Google Analytics. Google Analytics has been merrily running along as a free product for many years, but as of June this year, you need to do some work on it. You need to upgrade it, or it's going to stop working. So Universal Analytics, the version that most websites are running, has reached the end of life, and Google Analytics version 4 will be taking over. So we need to transition and do probably 30 minutes work, taking your old version, switching it across, configuring it, and setting that back up on your website. We need to do that for everybody who owns a website that runs analytics. Small, simple piece of work. Some of you, 1 or 2 of you I've done as we've been merrily working through some other bits and pieces, but there are lots of websites that we need to address that challenge so you don't lose your statistics. So I'm going to harp on about that for the next few months, and we'll work our way through getting those simple updates in place. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Scott. Matt, you're followed by Tina.
Good morning, everyone. Matt Parry from Blue Seraph. Some big news in. Blue Seraph have ventured into the world of sports sponsorship. No, we're not now sponsoring West Ham or taking over from Cinch on the cricket, but we are supporting Brentwood Eels Rugby League team. Their ethics and community-based programme, as well as their ambitions and development squads, is something that's been really enticing for us, and we are now their main sponsor, so it's really exciting. And with that partnership comes a service that we're providing to help promote them, look at their marketing strategies, but look at how we can evolve their brand. They've got a very exciting year. They're in the Challenge Cup, which is, for those who don't know, effectively like their FA Cup. So it's really exciting, it's a great opportunity for us, but we are also looking for similar sort of sports clubs that are looking to maybe reevaluate their marketing, reevaluate their branding. Please get them in touch with us. So that's Matt Barry from Research.
Thank you, Matt. Tina, you're next. You're followed by me, and I will be followed by Paul.
Morning everybody, my name is Kim and my company is called Liberty Executive Services. I offer a secretarial and admin service. The same as Ben, he can save you money on bills and I can save you money on admin. If you need any help but can't afford a full-time person, but you still need someone's help, that's where I can come in. I can type reports, organise letters, invoices, even chase invoices for you, or even organise an event for you to take your staff out or your clients out, like game shooting, television shooting, anything like that, or even, so I can save you money and time. So that's me, Tina, Liberty Executive Services. I'm not a 95 from the start to finish.
Can you also stuff envelopes, that sort of thing?
Yeah, I can do that.
Right, thank you very much, Tina. Aidan Squire from TM Law. This week I've been involved in 3 business sales, together with my colleague David James. One is an asset purchase, which is a division of the company. The other is an asset sale of the total assets of the partnership. And the other will be a share sale. The first involves taking on leases and employees. The second is mostly a client book that's being sold. And the third will involve a share sale, passing over assets and employees. These transactions are highly intricate, but they're top of the range as far as I'm concerned for referrals, so far as quality of referrals is concerned. So get out there and get some for me, please. Paul is next.
Good morning, Paul Blues, Godfrey & Co. Just before Christmas, I had probably one of the best Christmas presents ever. It was an announcement by HMRC that they're actually postponing the MTD for income tax self-assessment by 2 years. So originally it was due to start from April 24. It would have been applicable to landlords and self-employed people with turnover of £10,000. Would have been quarterly returns, 6 returns a year. Now it's postponed to April 26. The threshold is £50,000. So it's going to bring a lot of the small landlords and self-employed people out. Following year, it's bringing down to £30,000 from April 27. So it's a big announcement, helps a lot of people. So that's the big news. But I'm looking for people who have not got an accountant and need to go on this software. It's a good time to start. Landlords and self-employed. That's Paul Booth from Booth & Co. Minimised tax, maximum wealth.
Thank you very much, Paul. Right, that is the end of the eponymous 60-second round. You've all been totally bloody unruly. and it's nice to hear all about it, but really, next week, if anybody transgresses, they will be missed out the following week. Anyway, but nonetheless, thank you all for your contribution, however big. Right, and Mike, go for it.
I'm hoping we'll go on strike next week, it seems to be fashion. Right, well, I was going to upset Aidan by giving this to Brian, just for him to be something about it. But I'm going to give it to Toby for reminding me that there is actually a stage show of Back to the Future, which I've forgotten about. And yeah, just bear in mind where your business started from and what you're doing.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Toby. Struggling through an adversity, that's the sort of spirit we need from EVF. And that's the end of success. Thanks, Mike, for dealing with that. Right. What's next? Well, it's the meeting secretary's report, which is Scott.
Right, today, on these, it's a green, we've recorded £13,000 worth of business. We've recorded 13 new referral opportunities also. But a request, please, we tally up the whole year at the end of this month to produce our figures for Feb for our annual. So if no members pointed out in any way, if you have forgotten to put anything into the virtual forms, then we'll do an amnesty. Just go through your records and tally something up. You're not going to get Performance League points for the last 12 months of stuff that you've got to put in, but we do want to have that recorded in the system. So just have a double check through your records for any one-to-ones you've missed, for any show the monies you've missed, anything like that. Gratefully, we would welcome that into the system this month to make our annuals look good, please. Thank you very much.
Oh, thank you very much, Scott. Bear that in mind, get out there, get it in, and get the figures up. Synergy team report. There was a synergy team meeting on Tuesday. Paul organised it.
B2B Financial Profession Synergy Team meeting, always second Tuesday of each month, George and Dragon at Mount Nissing, 4:20 PM. There were 5 of us. Really good meeting. We sort of concentrated really on visitors, so what would be good for us, maybe good steps to try and make it a bit more efficient, a few incentives. So yeah, I think everyone enjoyed the meeting, and yeah, there'll be good news from that hopefully in the next couple of weeks.
Thank you, Paul. Yes, it was an excellent meeting. Right, we move towards the 10-minute presentation. Ben, take it away.
Okay, so before I introduce today's cheery speaker, just to give you an update on the upcoming weeks. So next week, the 19th, 10 minutes will be provided by Aidan and Scott, and Hannah will be doing the education swap. On the 26th, Nick is when your 10 minutes is, and well, it'll probably be me doing it that one, because hopefully I might be here. If not, then Paul will be doing that one. Into February, 2nd of February, Toby will be doing the 10 minutes and Scott will be doing the ed slot. And the 9th of February. 9th of February. Yeah, sorry. Yeah. 10 minutes will be done by Matt and ed slot by Stuart. So when it is your turn to do the 10 minutes of ed slot, if you can't do it, please let me know. As soon as possible, I'll do my best to swap things around. But please go to the website and download the bio sheet and get it to me a day or two beforehand. And today's week, I've got 2 bios, but Mike's one's ruder, so he said, right, do that one. So today we have Mr. Mike Rogers. Business name is The Mortgage Store. And obviously the nature of his business is actually doing as little as possible. His position in the company is layabout, and his business and areas is covered not far. Now, this might take 10 minutes up, something that winds Mike up. Okay, people driving in the middle of the road, people who stop driving to use phone, people who get to the checkout when they've forgotten something they need, technology, rain, wind, cold and bright sun, weather presenters trying to be his friend, news presenters who ignore punctuation, work, rude people, people who don't know how to shake hands, and effing, I'm not going to say it, effing Audi drivers.
I knew that was coming.
Yeah. Something we should all avoid, each other. And finally, a sentence on Mike's headstone is now F off and leave me alone. With that in mind, please put your hands together for Mr. Mike Rogers.
I want you to forget that this is a 10 minutes by a mortgage broker, because we're not going to talk about mortgages. Think of it more of an extended ed slot by somebody who loves you all. Okay? We're going to go on a little pension journey that I've just been on, because I think some of you will benefit from it. Pay attention, listen, because there will be homework for you at the end of it. to set the scene, Mike Rogers left school in 1974 and started his first job, which was a shop assistant with Halfords in Loughton, where they paid him £7 a week. £7 a week. And my mum insisted that I gave her £1.50 a week housekeeping, spiteful cow. Right. Since 1974, things have moved on. Halfords, when I worked for them, was owned by Burma Royal. Burma Royal sold it to Ward White, who owned all the shoe shops, and Ward White sold it to Boots, who still own it. Mike Rogers, on the other hand, has had 10 more jobs working for 10 different companies, and he's moved house and has had 11 home addresses since 1974. So, fast forward from 74 to 2018, and Mike Rogers thinks, this for a game of soldiers, I'm fed up with working for a living, I'm going to retire soon. And I did my sums and worked out that in 2 years' time, 2020, I'd be able to retire. In 2018, I started semi-retiring. I started giving client bank away to other people in the mortgage store. We had 5 holidays that year. I worked part-time and everything was hunky-dory. It was brilliant. And I'm thinking, yes, 2 years' time, 2020, I'll retire. Unfortunately, in 2019, somebody in China got to hear that I wanted to retire next year, and they decided that we needed a pandemic, and they sent us that pandemic, which absolutely screwed my retirement plan, so it got postponed, and the plan then was to retire in 2022. However, at the start of 2022, 3 people got together and had a meeting and thought, Mike Rogers is planning to retire this year. So Liz said, Kwasi, you go and buck the British economy, and Vladimir, you go and do the same with the world economy, and that will screw Mike's retirement plans again. So my retirement was then postponed until 23-24. But, and this is the bit that's important to you, it started me thinking, have I got all of my pension entitlement that I should have collected over the years? And I've been in financial services for 30 years, so I've been really good. Every time I've moved job, I've taken my pension from the last job, either put it in the next job or put it into a pension plan, personal pension plan. So I was 99.9% certain that I've got all of my pensions all tucked away, ready to go. However, last September, earlier in the year, Martin Lewis was on the telly and he said, Mike, have you heard about the .gov website called where'smypension.gov? And all you do on it is you put in the name of a company you once worked for and it will tell you who administers their pensions. So you can find out if you've got all your pensions. So I did that. I made a list of all my 10 employers. I put them all in. You need to do a little bit of homework because like Halfords was owned by Burma Royal when I was there. Nobody's heard of Burma Royal anymore. Where did they go? Ward White, nobody's heard of. Boots the Chemist, you put Boots the Chemist in, they've got 9 different administration companies looking after their pensions. So you have to do a little bit of work. And obviously some of the companies I worked for have disappeared over the years. So in the end I just did a general letter that said, my name is Mike Rogers, I live in Egbert House, Runwell. My national insurance number is YZ7584. Have you got any pensions sitting around for me? And over the next 6 months, some companies just never replied and ignored me. Some wrote back and said, sorry mate, we've never heard of you, you haven't got anything. And some wrote back and said, yes, you used to have, but you transferred it away from us in 20 whatever. So, checking your notes, I wrote this months ago. So in the end, I was absolutely happy that I've got all my pensions, worked out how much I was going to get when I retire, and thought, right, just wait for the economy to get a little bit better again, and then I can retire. However, in November 22, out of the blue, I got a letter from a company who wasn't one of the ones I'd written to. It was a company I'd never heard of, never had any connection with at all, and it said, just writing to thank you for updating your address details for us. We've updated your policy accordingly. And I'm like, what policy? So I phoned them up and I said, what policy? And they said, oh, you've got a pension plan that we look after for you. Okay. And she took me through security, very helpful young lady. And I said, so where does this relate to? How much is it worth? So I'll tell you how it happened. When I wrote those letters out, one of the companies that got my letter tapped the details into their screen and it said, no, we haven't got anything. So they wrote back to me saying, you haven't got any pension with us. But unbeknown to me or anybody else in the universe, their back office system was somehow linked to this other company's back office system, and this other company got a little note updating my address details. So somebody very helpfully put it into their system and updated my thing, and then very helpfully wrote to me to tell me that they'd updated their thing, who I very helpfully then phoned them and said, what policy have you got? And they said, you've got a pension policy with us. So, my next question is, well, how much is it worth? Yeah, fair question. I'll tell you how it came about. When I left Halfords, I had been in their pension scheme for only 4 years, and my leaving salary when I left Halfords was 13,000 or something. So I'm sort of mentally doing the maths, 13,000, 4 years, pension contribution of 3 or 4%, could be worth £1,000, something like that. What had actually happened, if I'd have died last year, nobody would ever have known about this money. What had actually happened, when I left Halfords, I transferred it to the next employer and then started making contributions to their pension. When I left that company, I asked for it to be transferred to the next company. They actually transferred the pot that had got my contributions in it and left the Halfords bit where it was. Completely forgot about it, never knew it was there, would never have found it, they would never have found me because the address was 40 years out of date. I would never have, I just didn't know it was there. I've got a letter from that employer saying we've received your pension pot from the last employer, it's now in our scheme. No problem. So, how much do you reckon it's worth? How much do you reckon that the amount that went in was 1,100 quid in the end, but it's been sitting in this pension pot ever since? Have a guess how much money is in that pension pot?
18,240.
18,000. Would have been really nice if somebody had phoned me up and said, you've got £18,000 you didn't know you've got. It would have been really nice, wouldn't it? Any other guesses? 6,000? No? Any other guesses? Huh?
35,000.
That'd be even better, wouldn't it?
£400. I would say 10.
£83,500.
Sorry,
£83,500. This little bit of money that I put in 1970 whatever has been sitting in an equity fund ever since, untouched, gathering dust but just growing, and it's now worth nearly 85 grand, okay? Which has now been transferred into one of my other pension plans. So as you can imagine, I'm quite happy. And also, it doesn't matter what the likes of Vladimir and Kwasi do, I'm retiring soon. Okay, so I said at the beginning there were 4 bits of homework that I wanted you to do. Homework 1, when you get home from this meeting, make a list of every job you've ever had and who you worked for, and then one day put it into the where'smypension.gov website and find out who administered it, and then write to them. Just write to all of them. I sent out about 20 letters doing this. And just make sure that you are aware of where all your pensions are, because I'm absolutely sure that there must be other people in this room that are in the same situation as me, has left money behind, completely unwittingly left it behind. Homework number 2, every time you change jobs, don't just ask somebody to move it from one job to the next. Write to the previous company to find out how much they've got, then write to the new company and say how much did they send you, and keep tabs on it basically, because generally what happens, when I moved that money to the next job, they just said, yeah, we've received your pension transfer. I had no idea how much was supposed to be in there or how much it was worth, so I didn't know that half of it had been left behind. Homework number 3, every time you move house, make sure you write to all of those companies and give them your new address, because when it comes to pensions, the onus is on you to keep track of it, not for the pension admin company to keep track of you. And there are literally hundreds of millions of pounds sitting in pension funds that have never been collected. British Rail a few years ago gave all their staff a 5-year pension holiday where they didn't have to contribute to their pensions because their pension was overfunded because so many people had died and left and not collected their pensions. Okay, and then homework number 4, and unfortunately he's not here today, homework number 4 is make an appointment with Howard, give him all your pension details so he can put it on his system so there's a record of all of it together somewhere. He will work out how much pension you're going to get from it all, and he can also tell you how much extra you should be putting in now to make sure that when you retire you get the lifestyle that you want. Okay? And at this point, I was going to say, thank you very much. I'm not actually authorised to talk to you about pensions, so you can't ask me any questions. I'll now hand over to Howard, who will stand here and answer your questions. But he's decided to stay at home this morning. So,
I've got a question.
Go on.
Do you do mortgages?
No.
Why is retired?
The answer to that question, in all seriousness, is yes, I do. But as of the 1st of January, I'm not doing any new lending myself. It's all being handed over to other mortgage store people who are doing it on my behalf and will eventually take over my entire client bank. The only mortgages I am doing is members of EBF and their families and close friends. I will continue to look after them until I get to the point where they deauthorise me because I'm not doing enough business. At which point somebody else will take over, which is why I said this morning, if you're expecting a call from me this month, you will still get it, but I'm postponing it because we don't need to rush to do it anymore because it's going down.
Thank you.
That was very interesting. Can you send a little round robin round?
Well, and ask me to do more work. I've written the bloody thing and presented it.
Let's take a photograph of it.
I'm sure it's going to
Yeah.
On your list of things you hate was IT, and that £85,000 would give that an excellent back office IT system.
You're absolutely right.
Yeah. That how you
You're
now love
absolutely right.
IT.
But I still hate it because I lost the money in the first place because of, yeah, no, you're right. It does what it said.
You said mortgage rates are coming down gradually.
Yeah.
How much, given that interest rates are going to go up sometime this year, probably a couple of times maybe,
Yeah.
how much do you think sort of mortgage rates will come down in the next few years?
Impossible to answer. What's happened? Base rate has gone up, but because fixed rate mortgages are based on a longer term projection, the way the industry works is when something happens, they overreact to it and then gradually pull it back into line as the picture becomes clearer. So last half of last year the rates were going up and up and up, and people that are on like 1.2% mortgages now, if they're coming to the end of their deal in the next 6 months, they're suddenly going to find they're paying at least twice as much for their mortgage payments because the interest rates that we're getting now are, at one time, a couple of months ago, they were like nearly 5%. They're now coming back down. They're coming down much, much slower than they went up. They're coming down literally every month, they're coming down by 0.0 something of a percent, but it's still a reduction. And if I'm going to tie you into it for the next 5 years, I want to get it at the best possible deal. Interestingly, the 2-year fixed rates are more expensive than the 5-year fixed rates at the moment. So anybody looking short term, the lenders are actually saying, nah, give it a bit longer sort of thing, you know. So I'm watching it every month. As soon as there's a hint that one lender starts putting them back up, then we'll be in and we'll start locking people into deals because all the other lenders will follow suit within a fortnight. But we just got to wait and see. I think they will continue to go back up again, but we don't know, it's just a moving thing. But there was another thing I said last year as well. Santander were the first ones to extend the window for locking you in, but once you were locking in, you couldn't unlock. And now rates have come back down, so anybody that did lock in at that time is losing out. So I'm really, really pleased I didn't do it. Next question.
Last question.
John.
I'm after a lawyer to do the house sale.
Sorry?
Lawyers to do a house sale. Have you got any recommendations?
None that I would recommend officially. All I've got is conveyance, solicitors that I've used, that my customers have used and have had good service from. So there's a few. I'm probably more likely to say, don't use that one, don't use that one. but give these ones a try. Same thing.
Right, Mike, thank you very much. It's nice to know that mortgagees who will correct, at least are bringing it down, which is more good about
It's
it.
interesting that all the questions were about mortgages and nobody gives a flying about my pension.
Mike, there's nothing else we need to know about your pension. But thank you very much, and we'd like the Mr. Men book that you used in order to tell us all about it.
Wait, Mike.
Right.
There's a few blank ones there. If you want to send anything on a postcard.
Okay, let's move on to the referrals and testimonials round. So don't go anywhere, Mike. Start with Paul and work.
Yeah, well done, Toby. Excellent as always. Thank you. Well done, Mike. My fixed rate, 5-year fixed rate, comes out next May, I believe. Anyway, good 10 minutes. Thank you very much for John Hammond, Howard, another one for Howard, and Scott. Good meeting, and yeah, hopefully some visitors next week.
Thank you, Mike. Enjoyed that. Referral for Vince for sent business cards. Good plan again, excellent. Yes, good meeting you.
Thank you, Mike. Toby, I'm not sure what for, but thank you anyway, Toby. And thank you also to Scott for the money. Nice little order, over £4,000 of printing paid for. Thank you very much.
Everyone for doing this.
Another good meeting, great synergy meeting on Tuesday, thoroughly enjoyed that. Fascinating, actually 10 minutes, so some good advice there. Yeah, Toby, yeah, Scott was remarkably good, considering your shoulder. Thank you very much.
Nice meeting everyone. Thank you, Toby, for your Ed slot. I'm a wiser man now. Will be after I've read a few books. Mike, great advice as always. Looking forward to our wonderful meeting. So it won't be next week, not here, but the week after.
Burn yourself out. Maybe a couple of weeks. No. Yeah, well done, Toby. That was interesting. Thanks for that. That was nice to the right direction. Mike, excellent. Is always interested in pension things, making it. I feel like Martin Lewis thing as well. And there were literally hundreds of millions of pounds swimming around.
Even if you take somebody like Brian, for example, we all know Brian, he's 150 years old, he's been retired for 50 years, prior to that he was at the gas board for 100 years, but he may have had a job before that, and it's such a long time ago that nobody knows there's still a pension fund. You think, all of you can think, mine was my first job, 1974 I started there.
Thanks to IT, I'll be a record of it, absolutely.
Well,
excellent synergy meeting. For one of the best ones we've had, I think it was really good. So well done. I think it was 6 there, wasn't it?
Yeah, there was 6.
Was it 6? Oh, okay. So, Scott, please. You've already done this. We're all my 3G Gmail.
Yes, thank you very much.
So, Tina, how about that? We can do some.
Thank you.
Get rid of some old crap and refer from Melissa. She's not here, so I'll give it to her next time.
Fantastic meeting. Terry told me I had to say that. That's a good bit of surprise actually. Yeah, Toby, that's spooky stat sounds really good actually. I don't look at that. Mike, playing on about pensions. I know I've got 3 scattered around that I need to with that. I just want to say thanks to Matt as well, who's just done a branding and logo design for us, which you'll see more of over the coming weeks. See you next week.
Well done for shouldering the burden. Excellent. I mean, like, you must have felt like winning the lottery. I mean, it's...
I was quite happy.
I didn't know, but anyway. Exactly. Okay, so I have here a referral for you for a pension, no, for a mortgage, but we know about that. I'll wait until you say down.
You're on the list.
Another referral for Toby. He's going to be doing some motivational mapping for my team to see I have a referral to Scott for Wilson's security and plugins. Thank you for the money to Toby. I have a referral for Scott for MGP website rebuild, and I have a referral for Paul for Sam. Thank you very much. Excellent presentation, Mike, really, really good. Excellent presentation, Toby. If you like your self-help books, I thoroughly recommend Jimmy Carr's latest. It's really funny, but it's also really good.
Is that before or after?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well worth a listen if you like something. Paul, the world of finance puzzles me, but never so much as when you say quarterly tax returns, 6 returns a year.
Yes, yeah. That's correct. Yes.
Yeah, I don't even need an answer to it.
Yeah, very interesting, as I say, next week, keep it at 60 seconds. Paul produced an excellent synergy team meeting. We discussed the question of marketing ourselves as a group, and we discussed in particular getting visitors in. Scott and I will be doing a presentation next week, apparently. So watch this space. We have plans moving forward as far as getting to the what we do. So watch this space. Good meeting. Thank you all for your participation.
Well, that's brilliant. Yeah, really, really good. And as you said, it was going to be dreadful, but it was.
We don't do them very often, but when I do them, they're bloody good, aren't they?
Yeah. That was brilliant. Thank you for that. Took lots of notes. Thank you. And for the Edge Talk, Toby, brilliant. I'm going to be looking at that at Blinkist.com later today, so brilliant. I've got a referral there for Tina. Don't know how big it'll be yet or anything like that, but I got had a one-to-one with Jane and Roger via WhatsApp video call on just before on the 30th. There, looking at sorting out some utilities then, and thanks for the money to ex-member Kevin Bradford as well, who recommended his daughter and son-in-law. And finally, Paul, with all these changes coming up, I think after the Opstan thing, well, probably a good time to get you to talk to some of the team, whether that's in person doing a presentation or something like that, because a lot of them don't have accountants, and I keep telling them they need one to get it sorted, especially with the things that are changing. So we'll sort that out. And Matt as well, I'm good friends with the guy that runs King's Rugby Club in Colchester, so I'll have a chat with him and see if there's anything that we can do there. But yeah, great meeting. See you next week.
I've got nothing to say.
I'll stand up and I'll say something. Really good 10 minutes. I'm going to check on my old employees and see if there's anything. But really good, excellent. And I'll see you all next week. Oh, and for Synergy, really good Synergy meeting.
Thank you, Mike. You are multi-talented. Excellent meeting. See you next week.
Great 10 minutes. Great as well. I'll put a referral in for people who haven't anything to look at first. And I'll also put a referral in for some LPAs for me and Amanda after what I'm speaking with people next.
Yeah, but it's cool. I'll have to do that later. It's on the road, stick it on the radio. And thanks, Mike. I've already done homework number 1. And despite my youthful appearance, there's a few names on there. I've got a referral to Terry. Someone's unfortunate enough to need his services. So thank you for that, Terry. And see you all next week.
Thank you. I'm going to do that because I thought that I transferred anything when I left. I just left and went on. So I'm going to definitely look into that. Great meeting, thanks Toby. I'm going to have a look at that and I'll highlight those. I have been speaking to a plumber and architect and a bathroom and kitchen for this week. I've been coming on to a visit and we've got there. And I'm going to want to run it. Thank you.
Yeah, excellent meeting. That's really good advice, Mike. That's something I need to do because I haven't had a job for 6 years now, I think, so I should maybe look back. But a couple of years ago, we consolidated Donna's pensions and found £25,000, which I didn't know she had. but she had to get in state for a couple. So yeah. I've got there's Matt. Here we go. Referral for Scott. When you start working, just what we talk about emails. Oh, it's what are you waiting for? That's the wrong one. That's the synergy meeting. That's Scott's one. Thank you. Yeah. Get back to bed. What have I got here? Oh yeah, I forgot to mention Blinkist. I put the link on there, and I put my link just in case there is something that I've missed. But actually, when you subscribe, you actually get 2 memberships. You can give one to somebody else. So I think it's really good value. That's it. Thank you. Oh yes, synergy meeting. That was it. It was great. Synergy.
Thank you, Tony.
Can I just add?
Yes.
If Howard had been here, he would have finished off by saying that the government have committed to set up a system whereby you will just take your national insurance number in and it should find all your pensions for you. It's going to take between 5 and 10 years to actually set it up, and the chances are that 50% of the lost pensions won't ever end up on there anyway, because nobody knows who, where, what, or why they're there. So do your best.
Right.
Which one's Ben's?
I'm not telling you, he told me that what the wine is his favourite.
Oh.
Bloody thing. Can't do it with the client, so I don't.
Oh, is it?
It's not bad. It is written for photos.
Yeah. Right. Before I send you on your way, anybody got any announcements they want to make to the group? I have Stuart.
Right, that was an announcement as such, but to award our winners and runners up from the what's it called? World Cup football. Liz is not here, so I'll look after that for her. But runner up, France was Aiden. Thank you very much, Stuart.
Right, there will be directors meeting immediately afterwards, but otherwise, seems all clear out there. It's dry at the moment, so make your escape. Have a good week. See you all next week. We might have 1 or 2 visitors next week.